you guys, so today is the final video using our Fenty Beauty, well, I'm not gonna say final, but it's the final for Project Throwback using our Fenty Beauty Moroccan Spice palette. If you guys don't know, if you didn't catch the last two videos, basically I wanted to start this project where I was trying to use up one palette for an entire month, as much as I could on my own, and then at least once a week on my channel. I was aiming for 4 videos, I only ended up doing 3, but let me know if you guys like this, let me know if you want to continue it for next month and keep it going. I thought it was really fun and I really enjoyed kind of getting to get some more use out of my products, because I just feel like so often now there's so many products coming out and we're just buying and buying and buying and not actually using what we were so excited for in the first place. So for the final look, I wanted to do this look in, oh god. This is a look by Nikki_makeup on Instagram. I will link her Instagram down below. She's one of my all-time favorite makeup artists. I absolutely love her Instagram. She's so inspirational. She does incredible makeup. So I really loved that look and I thought that it would be pretty easy to replicate with this palette. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive right into it. Let's do it. Okay, let's do this. I have my little reference picture pulled up. Okay, I'm gonna start with that little coral color there. It's so sad that I've been using this palette for a month and I've not even made a dent in it. I'm gonna be taking that on my Smith 230 brush. And I'm just bringing that into my crease and outer corner, as always, creating a nice transition. And we can just kind of build up that color. If you guys have been doing this, I wanna know how it's gone. What did you use, first of all? What product did you pick? And also, what would you think? Did you make any kind of progress into your products, or were you like not hitting pan as quickly as you thought you would? I'm gonna grab this red shade right here and I'm gonna take that on my Smith 253 brush. The colors she used are like a little bit brighter, but I think these will still be okay. So I'm just kind of taking that on my outer corner and packing that color on. And then same thing, packing it on my inner corner as well. But I'm keeping it off our like tear duct area, and then I'm keeping it off the center of the lid. And then I'm gonna take that same brush that we used for the coral and I'm just gonna kind of buff over the edges. And then I'm just taking a clean brush and just kind of buffing over everything. Okay, so she took like a little bit of like a darker red kind of in that crease area. So I'm gonna grab a little brush. So this is a Volair E09 brush. And I'm gonna grab this shade here. And I'm gonna start to kind of shape out what we're going for here. She went a little bit above the crease. Maybe I should do that too. And then I'm kind of dragging a line right up from that outer corner and kind of doing it in like almost like a cat eye shape. I think it's too late for me to go above my crease. I'll just go like this all the time so you can see it. Then I'm gonna take a little baby blending brush. This is the Cosette S185, and I'm taking that same color and I'm just blending over top. It kind of looks like more of a harsh line in the photo and it gets a little bit softer towards the inner corner, so I'm gonna really soften it over here, and then I'm gonna leave it pretty intense towards that outer corner. Camping's intense. Okay, and then taking an even smaller brush, I'm gonna take my Sigma L04 brush. This is my favorite brush for doing like really tiny little creases, and I'm gonna take that dark purple shade, and I'm just making that even more intense on that outer corner. That color's not building up quite as much as I want it to. I wonder if I can use that matte shade wet. Ooh, we're gonna try it. I'm just wetting that brush a little bit just to see if we can get some more pigmentation out of that. No. Oh, maybe a little bit. Okay. I just liked that it looked kind of like a line in her photo. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And then I'm gonna take that slightly bigger brush we were using and I just wanna make it a little thicker towards that outer corner. So when I'm positioning my brush, when I'm doing a really kind of detailed look like this, I'm gonna take my brush and hold it sort of upright. So we're almost gonna be blending along that ridge rather than going down like this, which can sometimes drag that color down a little bit, which we don't want. So I'm just positioning my brush a little differently so that all of the product is going above that crease. I'm gonna grab my little LC concealer. I've really been liking this concealer a lot. I'm taking shade Light, and I'm just grabbing my Volair E08 brush, and I'm going to cut our little crease. So I just like to kind of do a line, and then I drag it down towards my lash line. And then once I have less product on my brush, I kind of pat towards the inner and outer corners to blend. And then you can take the brush that you used for our red and just sort of pat over those edges. Then I'm gonna take that same brush that we used to cut our crease, and I'm going to grab that kind of like gold shade up here. Almost like a dirty gold color. It's really pretty, and I haven't gotten the chance to use it yet. Oh. Oh my God, that shade is beautiful. Same thing, I'm just taking that down the center of the lid where we need the most pigmentation first, and then once I have less product on my brush, with a really, really light hand, I can just kind of press that towards the inner and outer corners. I'm just gonna take a little bit more of that dark purple shade and kind of bring it into our inner corner. I can't tell if there's like a little bit of shimmer on the brow bone or if the model just has really nice glowing model skin. But I'm gonna take a little bit of this kind of champagne color, and I'm just gonna really, really lightly sweep that over the brow bone just for a little bit of extra shine. Then I'm gonna take that color on my inner corner, and I'm really gonna build it up. And then I'm kind of sweeping it upwards, almost towards that brow bone kind of thing. Then the bottom of the eye is pretty simple. She just kind of takes that same red underneath. That color is actually really great. A lot of the times reds are pretty disappointing. And then I'm gonna take that same coral color and just sort of sweep over top of this. It looks like she put a little bit of winged eyeliner on, so let's do it just for shits. Why not? So I'm gonna use my Dose of Colors eyeliner, gel eyeliner in the color Shady. This looks like a pretty thin winged eyeliner, so I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. Well, I'm gonna try my best. No guarantees. So I'm taking my Smith 205 brush first. I like to do kind of like a messy line with this, and then oh fuck, it's already bigger than I was meaning to have it. I like to do kind of a messy line with this, and then I'll go over with a liquid liner and clean it up. So I just basically drag right up from my lower lash line, and you can see like it kind of lines up with my lower lash line. So I just draw straight up towards the end of the brow, and then from that tip of that liner, I drag down towards my iris. And then I just fill in the bulk of that with my gel liner. And then I'm going to take my liquid liner from here, and I'm going to just make a nice thin line. And I'm keeping a really light hand the whole time I do this. I feel like when a lot of people do liquid liner, they want to like really press down because they think it's going to give them more stability. It's just about anchoring your hand and keeping that line really light, because the harder you press, the less control you're actually giving yourself. Kind of going to force that bristle tip into like a weird position. I don't love how that winged eyeliner turned out, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to do a little bit of a fun trick here. What I'm not liking about this look right now is that when I look straight on, see how this crease kind of goes down so far, and then the eyeliner comes up to meet it, and then the red just kind of starts over here. Do you know what I mean? Like the crease is going to here, but my bottom lash line stops here. So what I'm gonna do is take my little Real Techniques accent brush. I'm gonna grab that dark purple shade, and I'm going to sort of shade to connect to that winged eyeliner, so that it almost extends that lower lash line to kind of meet that corner. It almost looks like she's wearing lower lashes too, but again, she might just be really beautiful naturally. I'm not sure. I think I am gonna pop some lower lashes on just because I feel like that's sort of the look that they have going here. Like it's sort of got that lower lash line thing. I kind of look like this girl if I go like this, you know? Before we put our lower lashes on, I'm going to put some mascara on my bottom lashes. And I'm trying to apply it really nice and thick right at that lash line. I'm gonna pop my top lash on one more time. Whoop, there we go. Once your lashes are on, sometimes your eyeliner can do some weird things. So I'm just gonna go over top and basically let that lash guide me. Remember that time where I said that cute thing about how I wasn't gonna let my eyeliner get thick? Yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, so now I'm gonna take these lashes from House of Lashes. These are called Precious, which is what I am and how I feel. Same thing as always, we can kind of measure those to our eye. I usually cut off at least one little part of it. Applying lower lashes definitely takes some getting used to just because they're so much smaller and they're kind of like a little bit harder to, I don't know, they just are tricky. I feel like these ones, it's super necessary to wait that time to let the glue dry. I feel like when I'm doing top lashes, sometimes I can kind of pop them on before the glue is like a little bit more tacky, but with bottom lashes, no way. So I'm taking them really close to the base of my tweezers and I'm kind of looking up into my mirror. I'm going underneath my lashes and I'm attaching first to the center, the outer corner, and then the inner corner. And then what I kind of do is I sort of like press those lower lashes up into my real ones. And there you have it. If anything, if you need to kind of hide them a little bit more, now you can go back in with more mascara. And I kind of just like to dot more mascara on, almost like right where the false lashes would be underneath, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain that better. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara to my top lashes as well. My hair is extraordinarily greasy today. Oh, I forgot to show you a close-up of the eyes. Whoop. Here it is. I feel like it turned out all right. I'm pretty happy with this look. Moving right along. So I'm gonna be using my Nars Bord de Plage palette. I'm gonna mix these two. This was the other product I was trying to use up this month. Oh, my brush is still wet. This might turn out horribly, I don't know. So these are my overall thoughts on Project Throwback thus far. It was interesting because I kind of felt like sticking to one palette would sort of like limit my creativity, but I feel like it actually did the opposite because I feel like I was kind of forced to play within the bounds of this product. And then I felt like through the month, I also kind of found myself pulling products from my collection, like glitters and pigments and just all kinds of different shit like that normally like I just don't end up using because I'm just kind of trying to do something quick and pretty, or I'm just doing something like obvious with new palettes that release and stuff like that. But because I was kind of playing around with just the one product, it sort of made me like want to like branch out and try other things and layer things and see how I could transform the colors that we had in the palette. So it was interesting because I feel like it actually kind of like forced me to be more creative, which was really, really cool. I also feel like I came to realize truly how much product I have that I don't need and how much product we purchase that we don't really need, because I've been using this palette for a month and I didn't hit pan on anything. I only posted the 3 videos for you guys, but I was trying to use this palette as much as I could, just like for my day-to-day, like kind of quickly getting ready and all that kind of different stuff. And even the neutral shades, I didn't even get close to hitting pan on or even making a dent in. So just going off that, when I come to think of like how many, you know, eyeshadow palettes I have that I could literally never use up in my lifetime, it's just sort of, it's crazy to think about. I'm curious to know for you guys if you feel like this has curbed your kind of like desire to want to shop more. I'm gonna apply this highlighter right here with my little Hakuhodo brush. But I'm just curious because I kind of felt like maybe if I started using you know, my one palette, that I would sort of stop wanting new releases, or that I wouldn't be as intrigued by stuff because I'd be kind of starting to realize like how much of that I already own. And I don't feel like that necessarily happened. Like I still find myself like, you know, really excited by new eyeshadow palettes and wanting to purchase them still. But I do feel like if anything, it kind of got me to a point where I'm like, okay, like I want to actually be able to experience these eyeshadow palettes, because I know for a fact if I hadn't done this Project Throwback thing, as much as this palette had appealed to me in the beginning, I truthfully probably wouldn't have ended up using it. Just because especially in my job, I'm kind of just pushing through products as they sort of are released, because it's sort of like, because it's what people want to see. People are asking me to review new palettes coming out so that they know whether or not they should pick it up, kind of thing, based on my opinion. And I just know that like I wouldn't have found the time or thought to like pull this out and start using it. So I'm really glad that I got the chance to kind of play with it and kind of be forced to create some more unique looks with it and stuff. And I feel like we created 3 looks that were pretty different, and we kind of used a wide range of product. I wish I had done one more look with it, just kind of focusing more on that gray tone. I mean, I guess it's not too late. I guess I technically could. I'm gonna pop on Blankety from MAC. All right, you guys, so that marks the end of our first month of Project Throwback. I really, really would love your feedback on this. If you guys enjoyed this, if you thought it was cool, if you think it was a little redundant and boring, definitely let me know whatever you think, because I want to know whether or not you guys want to do another month. And if you have any palette suggestions for next month, definitely let me know that as well. I wanted to give you guys kind of a review now, having used the palette over the course of a month, and kind of telling you guys what problems I ran into, what things were good about it, all that stuff. So, Rihanna. My first complaint with this palette would definitely have to be that I did not transform into Rihanna over the course of a month. It was really disappointing and I want my money back. To start off, I feel like this palette was really, really, really cohesive in that I did not struggle at all to come up with combinations and how to implement different colors. I think if anything, the only color that I really didn't touch and felt kind of like it didn't fit as well was this gray, just simply because there's not a lot of blue tones in here. And these 2 blue tones, I would sooner kind of pair with some of the warm tones to balance them. And I just felt like that gray I didn't find myself reaching for, and I couldn't really think of any way to implement it into a look other than just having like a gray in the crease and like nothing else. But overall, I had no problem coming up with color combinations and ways to use basically every other color in the palette. I did feel like there was enough range here that I could create day looks really easily when I wasn't filming or just wanted to do something quick, and then I could create more dramatic looks as well easily. The one thing I noticed over the course of using this is that I feel like there's quite a few dark tones in this palette. This palette looks quite dark in my opinion, or like it would be on my skin at the very least. And I was surprised by how light the colors applied on my skin. It really makes me curious as to what the experience has been for those of you with deeper skin that have tried out this palette. Did you feel like these shades were dark enough for you that you could create contrast, or did you feel like they just kind of fell a little bit flat? I'm really interested to know. I've noticed a few people commenting that Fenty Beauty has recommended using their primer to intensify the look of their shadows. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't really like when any brand says that you have to use something that doesn't come with a product to like reach the full potential of what those shadows have to offer. A lot of us are well versed enough in makeup that we know how to intensify a product if we want to, either by like wetting our brush, putting it over top of a concealer, but I don't think it should be completely necessary. And I found myself really struggling to build up the depth I was looking for. I felt like they really, really were helped by applying like a pencil underneath that you had blended out, like I did on the look that I did on Alana, and redid it on myself at the end of the video. Other than struggling to build up that intensity, I felt like the mattes blended out pretty well. They didn't seem to be too patchy or anything like that. I didn't have any grand issues with them in that regard. The shimmers all worked really beautifully for me, aside from this white shade. I felt like that one was a little lackluster. I wish that it had been a little bit more intense and creamier. It just seemed a little dry and kind of like chunky and just didn't have that intensity I was looking for. It looks white in the pan, but when you apply it, it has a really, really slight pink shift. I wish that had just been a little bit more intense because I feel like it could have really worked to transform a lot of the other shades, but I just felt like it kind of, every time I used it, I just felt like it kind of fell a little bit flat for me. All the other shimmers were beautiful. They worked out great for me. I had no issues with them. They worked well dry, they worked well wet, really didn't seem to matter. Overall, I did like that palette. If you don't have similar shades, I don't think you'd be particularly disappointed by the formula. So you guys, that is everything for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting. Thank you for being involved in Project Throwback. If you guys did follow along with me this month, I still want to see your looks. Hashtag Project Throwback on Instagram or Twitter, whatever you use. I'd love to know what you used, what you thought about this project, if you learned anything, if you didn't. All right, you guys, peace out. Oh, I feel like I'm like so lost as a human. I don't know what I do anymore. I don't know who I am.